Organic, biodynamic, certified organic. What do all these terms mean? We're going to jump into that today in our video. I'm Tim from Elma Wine and Liquor, and I am here today to talk to you about organically grown grapes, organic wine, biodynamic, and what all those terms mean when you are shopping or discussing wine. Organic products in the grocery store and elsewhere have seem to be becoming much more popular. People are looking for them in particular. With wine, there are some intricacies of how that organic process works or certification process works that I figured it'd be good to go over with everybody today, since it has been a question that comes up a lot more frequently in the store. So to start off, we have wine made with organic grapes. This is probably one of the more common terms or labels you'll see in a wine or liquor store. You'll notice it is made with organic grapes. It does not say organic wine. Some of them will also have a certification on them on the back. This one has a couple different certifications, including the B Corp certified, climate neutral certified, and certified organic by California farmers. What made with organic grapes means is that the grapes that go into this bottle are all grown organically. So no herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, anything like that. The same as with most organic foods that you would buy in a grocery store, that they are just, the grapes are grown in an organic way. So if they go do soil testing to certify those grapes, they're not going to find any residue of those pesticides and herbicides and all that stuff. What this label does mean, though, is that during the winemaking process, they can use other ingredients, such as the yeast, that may not be certified organic. They are also allowed to add sulfites to this. One thing that everybody should be aware of is that grapes naturally produce sulfites. When they are picked, the second they get bruised or damaged at all after they're picked, which is pretty much immediately after, because the farmers pick them and toss them gently into a bin, but they get knocked around, jostled around, those grapes start producing sulfites to protect themselves. So wines made with organic grapes are going to have some natural sulfites, but they are also allowed to add some sulfites in small quantities to the wine and still have it labeled made with organic grapes. The difference between a completely organic wine and wine made with organic grapes is that during the winemaking process, all of the products, including the yeast, are certified organic. They also cannot add any sulfites into the wine as they make it. You'll see this one does say wine made with organic grapes as well on the label, but it is certified organic by an organization in Italy. This is an Italian wine. So the whole product is also certified organic. I'm not sure why they chose to put that on the label instead of fully organic. Maybe they like the flexibility of being able to change it in different years. I'm not exactly sure. But so we have wine made with organic grapes. Grapes are all organic, but the yeast may not be, and they are allowed to add some sulfites to make sure it's preserved. Organic wine made with organically grown grapes, organic yeast, and they do not add any sulfites. Now, remember I said grapes naturally start producing sulfites right away. This will still have some sulfites in it. It may not have as much as this. It may have the same amount. It's, just because of the way they're naturally produced. There are some wines on the market that are completely sulfite free, or so they claim, which means that their parts per million are very, very, very low. Those wines are not very shelf stable because sulfites are the preservative that keeps that wine a little bit more stable along with the alcohol. We tend to not carry a lot of those in the store because they, just naturally spoil a lot faster than other wines from our experience. The next term that is used a lot is sustainable. So a lot of wineries talk about being sustainable. This is where they are mindful of their overall impact on the environment. A lot of these wineries may also be certified organic in the way that they grow their grapes. They may not be, but what they try to do is conserve water, reuse water, manage the soil and the farm in a way that is not impacting the environment in a negative way. A lot of times they use lighter glass bottles, or they are mindful of the type of paper that they're putting in, glue that they're using on the bottles. Like I said, some of them are also certified organic grapes, but sometimes they're not. And a lot of times, from what I hear from winemakers when I talk to them about the sustainable label versus the organic label, is that if there's a particularly bad year, pests are just out of control, it gives them the freedom to use some pesticides in that year, or if, herbicides, if they really, really need to. They try their best not to, but if they need to, they can still use those. From my understanding, with an organic certification, you have to go something like 7 years without having used those products, which is a long time. So they don't ever really want to put anything in the soil, because then they need to wait another 7 years before they can get that certification back. With the sustainable, they have a little bit more flexibility if they need to. But as an overall farm experience and winemaking experience, they are doing their best to minimize their impact on the environment. Another term that we see a lot in the winemaking, in the wine industry, is biodynamic. So now this goes even a step further than sustainable, whereby they're utilizing natural pesticides, herbicides. They are they're taking sustainable to a whole nother level, making sure that everything is integrated into the farming practices. They are oftentimes watching like the lunar calendar for the best time to water, the best time to harvest, the best time to prune, all those types of things. It's not just done based on a calendar schedule of, well, this is, the first frost was last week, we prune this day. They're watching a whole bunch of environmental factors. They're testing the soil. They're utilizing natural natural fertilizers in the soils to make sure that it's kind of a full cycle. It's not this winery, but another winery that I like a lot. They use sheep in the vineyards, and I think I've talked about this on another video, where the sheep are eating the weeds, eating the grass that grows between the vines. They are naturally fertilizing the earth that the vines are growing out of, and then at night they're sleeping under the vines to help radiate some heat and keep the vines warm in certain spots. This is an example of a biodynamic wine. You can see they also have a USDA certified organic sticker on it. They are also sulfite free. It's one of the few wines that we carry regularly that is sulfite free completely, which means that parts per million is just extremely low. So there can be some crossover between these different terms. I've given you 4 different terms: made with organic grapes, organic wine, sustainable, and biodynamic. Doesn't mean that they're all mutually exclusive. Just means that they're kind of different levels of what they're trying to do as a farm and as a winery and as a business overall. The last term I'm going to just jump into, which isn't directly related to any of those, but since it comes up a lot, is vegan. One thing that people may not be aware of is, going back to ancient practices of making wine, there's a final step called fining the wine. And essentially this is like a filtration process. When the yeast is eating away all that sugar to produce the alcohol, it often leaves some residue, dead yeast. Sometimes there's little pieces of grape skin left in there, very fine particulates. And so long time ago, winemakers discovered that if they took egg whites or a substance from the bladders of fish and mixed it in with the wine, those particles would stick to that fining agent, and then they could easily remove that egg white or that fish bladder from the wine to pull out all those particles. When you're introducing an egg or a fish bladder into the wine, it becomes not vegan anymore. So some wines are making the point of putting vegan on the label, because nowadays with modern winemaking techniques, there are other ways, probably more efficient ways, to actually fine the wine that doesn't require breaking egg whites apart and putting them in the wine. You will find that a lot of wine, if you do some digging, a lot of wines, even the ones that don't necessarily put it on the label, are actually vegan, because like I said, they're using modern day wine practices. But if you are a very, very staunch vegan, it is something that you might want to pay attention to as well. So we went over organic, made with organically grown grapes, organic wine, sustainable wine, biodynamic wine, and we threw a vegan wine in there for a bonus today. I really look forward to hearing your questions and comments. Correct me if there's anything that you felt wasn't completely accurate or explained perfectly, because this is a pretty complicated subject with the way the terminology and the certifying bodies that do all this stuff. But look forward to hearing from you. Please share this with a friend that is very interested in organic products or vegan, and see what they think. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers.